Morning, guys. I don't know what's cracking here. I'm hoping that um, what you are seeing in front of you, we're on Zoom now, so I'm hoping that what you are seeing in front of you, um, yeah, is the screen. So let me just do this quickly. You see, I don't even know what is the link. So we had a challenge with Facebook this morning. Let me just do this as well. I want to do something. I'm seeing something that I want to do something, man. I really want to do something. Morning, guys. Morning, guys. Can you all see me now? Morning, guys. Morning, guys. Um, yeah, I think we are set, okay? And we are recording. We are recording. Let me know where you want me. Okay, I'm going to put myself there, and we fine. I think we can go for it. Okay, we going for it now. Thank you very much. My name is Seppo, and I'm the one who's gonna be taking you through the webinar today. I'm taking you through this webinar today. So if we hardly ever on Zoom, guys. So this is the practice run. This is what we might start doing next week. So if I'm fiddling around, I'm really trying to find my way. Just figure that out, okay? Um, I hardly ever use this platform. I said something interesting this morning. We were speaking about. I read. It was actually a tweet that I read this morning of someone talking about a court case. I've shared that on my personal TikTok page. And what someone was talking about was a case where it's very hot here, guys. Oh, it's hot. Okay, it's hot. I might have to just switch my fan on. It's very hot. It's extremely hot. I need my fan on. So yeah, I'm burning. I'm burning. And so first time we're doing this on Zoom. I was in a great session yesterday. It was a one of those funnel situations, and the interesting thing about that, the most interesting thing about that was what they have on offer and what is it that they distribute. But it's pricey, guys. I mean, it's pricey, but definitely worth it. You know, in my view, definitely worth it. Um, I'm not gonna go into detail. Can you see me clearly now? I don't like this the webcam. So I'm using the webcam. I don't like the quality of the webcam. Yeah. Okay. Quick disclaimer: the information contained in this presentation and the resources available for download through Juprop Group website and its affiliated sites, inclusive of social media platform, is not intended as and shall not be understood or construed as financial advice. I'm not an accountant or a financial advisor, nor am I holding myself out to be, and the information contained herein is not a substitute for financial advice from a professional who's aware of the facts and circumstances of your individual situation. We have done our best to ensure that the information provided and shared, the resources available for download, are accurate and provide available information regardless of anything to the contrary. Nothing Nothing available on or through this webinar should be understood as a recommendation that you should not consult with a financial professional. To address your particular information, the company expressly recommends that you seek advice from a professional. Okay? Who's Juprop and what is it that gives us the reason to exist? We are here for credit active consumers, and we provide credit education tools and insights to improve their credit score. We are here to empower clients with transitioning from tenants to homeowners by leveraging their credit. And campaign that we have, we currently are running the 1 million credit reports campaign. And this entire webinar is ideal for all credit active consumers. So if you're a credit active consumer or you are a consumer and you're not understanding why you're not credit active, perhaps even with you is begin the process of starting with the credit file. Okay, um, assist you with the credit file. Okay, here are the quick facts that um, we want to share with you. In the country being South Africa, there's over 26 million credit active consumers. Of those, about 9.88 million have impaired records. Okay, and of that, the entire lot, there's 741,000 that are pulling their credit report, um, and this is why we're here. This is what we also at the end of this session. We're hoping that you will take practical steps in actually getting your credit report. And once you have your credit report, then it becomes our engagements become much more meaningful. Any further engagements beyond that become much more meaningful. Okay, and if you are part of us, this is what we will ask you to do anyway. Okay, our session is going to be broken down into three. We'll be covering understanding credit, and we'll cover catch your credit report and how to go about that. We've got a free resource in the premium version, but even here, we'll just guide you in terms of how you can go there. The third session covers the offer. Okay, I like covering the offer upfront. Okay, so this is why you would have all the detail, some of the details of the offer. So we've got three packages. We've got a bronze package, we've got a silver, and we've got a gold package. We also have corporate packages. Okay, and those we code on the basis of what is it that you might require, what is it. So they are customized. Okay, so customized means we have to go and look at exactly what is it that you require. um, and I'll get into the details of what's in the package in the end. But that's what you are in for. So perhaps you've got into this slide and feel, look, I am not me, I'm not interested already. Stay for the duration of the webinar, and you might just find some advice, some free game, um, some insight that can help you along your credit journey, man. Okay. um Understanding credit, session one. I always say this is the most important slide, and we are going to be referencing this slide throughout the entire presentation. We will reference this slide throughout the presentation. How's the lighting, guys? The lighting looks yeah, I just have to get the lighting in order there. It's broad daylight, but yeah, there's something about the lighting. Sorry about that. Um, what I always say is the goal for any prospective credit active consumer and a credit active consumer, a prospect and both a credit active consumer, is to get know exactly where you are in terms of your score. And once you know where you are on your score, is to get to a point where your score is you've got an excellent score. That's ideally what you want to do. Now, the same is applicable if you are looking at buying a house. You need to get to a point where you get your score at least to an excellent or a good level. The reason being, once you have an excellent score, a good score, you are in a better position to negotiate your rates. Okay, you are in a better position to negotiate your rates, and you become an ideal customer. Okay, an ideal customer. And when you are on the left, on the extreme left, and you've got a poor credit score, what that means is that you are not yet, or it demonstrates that you can't be trusted with money, with other people's money at least. Okay, there are cases where you find someone might afford, okay, might afford, let's say, a specific lifestyle, or you might afford your expenses, your monthly expenses, and so forth. But on the other side, you've got a very poor credit score. That works against you, because it means when people look at your profile, when credit providers look at your profile, they are not seeing your earnings as evidence. They look at your credit score as an evidence of can you be trusted with other people's money? So you would find that I always use this, and you would find that particularly in I'm in South Africa now. So let's say Gauteng with these multi-units developments that are just across the city. Particularly in the north, there's just it's a mushrooming. There's always multiple units that are being built, and these units that you see, property developers, they are rising up. One of the key things in that is, would there be tenants? And I can guarantee there are always tenants. Now, it's always strange when you find that you can qualify to as a tenant, um, and definitely have a place to stay because you've proven your affordability, and maybe it's a 3-month bank statement. They will do the credit check, but they'll also look at your affordability. But the same condition, if you were to go and try to apply for, let's say, a bond, you might not qualify. You might not qualify. The affordability uh, might invariably mean, well, we can't trust you in this relationship that in a 20-year. So when you are denied a bond, it actually means the bank is saying, as for now, if this relationship we have to go for 20 years, we can't trust you. So the best way to kind of get around that is take a year. Put the first step, I would say, get your credit report, know exactly where you are. Once you know where you are, take some months or a year. It could be a year. It could be. Some of you are one dispute, lodging away from an excellent credit score. Some of you are a couple of payments. So the situation differs from case to case, but you just have to find you just have to know what is in there, who's making inquiries, why, and why. Only you know who are you, who's calling you, whose calls are you avoiding, who's making contact, who's not making contact. All these other things, as long as it relates to your finances. Okay, so um, yeah, we are here for talking credit score, man. So I think the first starting point is to understand what is it that we're talking about when you talk about credit. Experience defines it this way. It says credit is the ability to borrow money or access goods or services with the understanding that you'll pay later. In simple terms, what that means, the way I always explain it, is credit is the ability to borrow from your future self. Credit is, you are credit. You yourself, as you, wherever you are a credit line. You are a credit line. So how you handle yourself, how you deal with your line situation, um, dictates or provide the framework for how you are trusted with other people's money. At the core of it, credit is about trust. Credit is about trust. At the core of it, if there's anything about credit that you need to understand, it's about trust. And trust is earned. You earn your credit, um, or you earn this trust by simple things, by paying your accounts on time, not defaulting. These are trust builder tools. Okay, these are actually, that's what they mean when people are saying, credit repayment. What they mean is that, um, uh, we look at your disputes, we can we can look at you, but that's these most of these things, guys, are DIY things. Okay, you can do it yourself. I understand people want to save time, but we all say, let us give you the tools. We've got packages when we can do things for you, but let us give you the tools, and you are better informed in that way. Okay. In the context of the country, we've got the National Credit Regulator and the Act that governs credit. We've got the National Credit Act, 34 of 2005. And I'm not going to go through all these, but it's to promote a fair and non-discriminatory marketplace for access to consumer credit. And for that purpose, to provide for general regulation of consumer credit and improve standards of consumer information, to promote Black economic empowerment and ownership within the consumer credit industry, to prohibit certain unfair credit and credit marketing practices, to promote responsible credit granting and use for that purpose to prohibit reckless credit granting, to provide for debt reorganization in cases of over indebtedness, to regulate credit information, to provide for the registration of the credit bureaus, credit providers, and debt counseling services, to establish national norm standards relating to consumer credit. Okay. Who's the credit provider? Credit provider in respect to of a credit agreement to which this act applies means the party who supplies goods or service under a discount transaction, incidental credit agreement, or installment agreement, the party who advances money or credit under a pawn transaction, the party who extends credit under a credit facility, the mortgagee under a mortgage agreement, the lender under a secured loan, the lessor under a lease, the party to whom an assurance or promise is made under a credit guarantee, the party who advances money or credit to another under any other credit agreement, or any other person who acquires the rights of a credit provider under a credit agreement after it has been entered into. What I always say, particularly emphasizing G, is that always keep in mind that this credit line has a dual relationship between it becoming an asset or a liability. So when you are owing your credit providers, to you that's a liability, but to them that sits on their debt book. Now debt can be sold and packaged to third parties. And these third parties, so literally operate on a simple economic principle of buying low, selling high. So you want to buy a debt book at a very low cost, and then you'll have your cost to trace to that's why you would find these numbers, people calling you, okay? And they will be chasing that. Some is just actually business, or is credit providers, call centers that will be calling you trying to recover. Okay. And I always say in some of these products that the credit agreements that you enter into, there are also what you call credit insurance that comes with most of these credit agreements. Okay. And one of the things that most people don't understand is that in dire situations, your credit providers actually claim, they claim. um, they claim, and these things happen, guys. These things happen. Okay. Uh, what is in your credit report? I spoke about the three-digit number, but one of the key things that you will find there is, for one, you'll find your personal information. You will find your employment history. You'll find even the addresses where you've resided previously and so forth. And all these things, they matter, right? I want to speak a bit about addresses before we get into the nitty gritty of what is there. Okay, be careful about too many addresses and moving a lot. It actually also has an impact on your credit score. Okay. um, you need to ensure that at least you have, um, I would say, particularly when you are starting out. Okay, it's Friday, I'm supposed to be talking to to the ones that are starting out. Okay, when you are starting out, so yeah, it's you, I'm talking to you. um, there's a likelihood that when you are starting out, you might be moving between cities based on cities, or renting different apartments and so forth. What I always encourage is that when you are starting out, try to use your address for where you come from until you are in a situation where you've got your own place or your own house, or you like a place that you'll stay there longer. Okay. But don't go, when you bought your fridge, you are staying here, you bought your fridge with credit. You go and open an account, it's either different. You go and open your bank account, it's different. This is why you'll end up always at the police station doing affidavits of addresses. So try to minimize that. Okay. The other thing that you will find is the number of credit card accounts you have, their borrowing limits, their current outstanding balances. You will have information as the loans you've taken out, how much of them you've paid back, are you paying on time, are you defaulting, notices, judgments, all these things that are reflected there. Whether your monthly payments for your accounts were made on time, late or missed together, and financial setbacks, as I've just mentioned. Okay, um, mortgage foreclosures, car repossessions, bankruptcies, and the notices, judgments. This morning I was reading. It's actually a judgment that has ended out on Monday. If I could find it, there it is. There it is. It's a Munsami judgment, a Dialan Munsami. So case number 2018 471 106, and this had to do with a house which was with. I mean, the bank tells you tells somewhere the bank says, look, at the high value of this house was around 4.9 million, and cut long story short, the house was sold at an auction for about 360,000. Okay, um, and part of the reason why that happened is also um, as an owner, or let's say as an occupier of the house under bond, commonly known or referred as a homeowner. There are processes once there are a warrant of execution issued that you need to follow, that you need to adhere to. And if you can respect the court processes and be participant, don't just sit and wait, guys. Don't just sit and wait, because you'll end up losing much more in value. I mean, I picked this up. I haven't gone into the depth details of the history of this. I'm just looking at the judgment that was reached. So the gentleman lost the case. Okay, so he lost his house. He lost the value that he had built. So the bank says, well, look, this house was worth 4.9 million. Um, it's now sold. I can't tell you how much he had paid, how long had he been in the same house. But one of the things that, and this is why you need to, I always emphasize getting as much information and being informed, guys, is when it comes to things like refinancing and getting a portion of your excess money out of your house, reinvesting in developing other properties. Those are the tools that you can use to leverage yourself, to leverage your financial situation. So don't wait until the situation. Don't be too comfortable. Okay, don't be too comfortable, guys. Um, One of my mentors, and I follow this guy. He always says, "Well, um, what is it? Rent where you could own, where you should own, and buy where you could rent." So literally, I don't. It's the yeah. So it's the other way. Say you buy, but you need to have tenants and make these things income generating assets. Don't be yeah. That's another webinar. That's another webinar. So there are more types of credit, but here we cover four: revolving credit, service credit, installment credit, charge cards. Please, guys, feel free to screen grab. Feel free to screen grab. I always say one of the key things that you ought to always take into consideration, particularly with these um, loyalty programs. Most of them now come up with store accounts function linked into them. So don't just sign up for things and use things that you do not understand. Please don't do that. Understand exactly what is it that you are getting, exactly what is it that you are buying, and use these tools to your favor and leverage them in pushing your credit forward, because they have as much power to pull you at least a poor score. Okay, so it's a push and pull scenario always with anything that has to do with money and credit agreements and provision. Okay, how do you reach your credit report? We referenced this in the beginning. Said the creditors will use that three-digit number. Everyone has, at least if you're a credit active consumer, you'll have a three-digit number. You'll have your score. um, and your score is the key, is literally the key to unlocking yourself into opportunities of leveraging other people's money. Um, so, how do you get your credit report? We are in session 2 now. So, um, guys, I don't speak on behalf of, I would say I don't speak on behalf of the credit bureaus at this point. I'm not affiliated to any of them. But the major ones is TransUnion and Experian, the major ones. But in the country, we've got 14 credit providers. And as a South African, at least as a South African, you are entitled to one free annual credit report. You are entitled to it. It is a right. So if there's anything, we should be having 10 million, 26 million people pulling their credit reports and understanding where they are. Okay. Worst case scenario, we should have 10 million. 10 million. Once you are in an impaired situation, the first step that you ought to be doing is go pull your credit report. Go pull your credit report, because impairment is not a permanent um, condition, and a poor credit score, a very poor credit score, is not a permanent condition. You just need to know your way on how to improve it and get out. And this is why we're here. Okay. Why is it important to know what's reflected on your credit report? When you look at what's on your credit report looks like, you can apply for credit with confidence. It is also important to know which accounts are negatively affecting your credit score so that you can improve the payment of these. When you request your own report, you can see who has been making inquiries on your profile. This is important to make sure that you do not become a victim of fraud or identity theft. I spoke, I think in September, we are covering, there was a report by Home Affairs where there were 553 fraudulent marriages which had to be reversed. Now, one of the things that can happen if you find yourself in this situation where you are married but you did not know is that you can end up inheriting a debt. I always reference, particularly some of, I always say, look, I'm an 80s baby, so cell phones found me here. Cell phones found me here. And when we started with cell phones, um, possibly the most expensive phone was 2000, and that's like, I'm being really extreme and I'm being very generous, you know. um the most popular phones were about anything between 749 and 900. The cheap phones were like 300. You know, 349, ding 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 ding. Those are the cheap phones. Right now, as I'm speak to you now, this day, the year being 2022, uh, phones, possibly the entry phones are at what used to be the well, I don't know, but I think, yeah, I don't know if you can find a phone under less than 1,000, a decent phone. You possibly can. um you possibly can, but they go high up as 50,000. Okay. And that's why you've got the phone grabbers. People grabbing phones and running, and people stealing phones. That's why you have it. That's why you have phones disappearing, because there's money locked into that, into a device, into a device. Okay. Um, so 6 quick ways to improve your credit score. There's more than six. I always say, when you get to this slide, you see, there's more on the left, eh? The more you are on the left, the more you have to do. That's what credit is about. The more you are on the left, the more you have to do to get to the excellent side. But this was purely accidental. Um, so the six quick ways to improve your credit score: get your credit report, report errors on your credit profile, pay your bills on time, reduce your credit ratio. This is one of the most important for me. The less of your available credit you use, the better it is for your credit score. The better it is. It doesn't matter um, what the banks, what these institutions give you as credit as what's available. Don't go mixing it out. Um, don't do it. Don't do it. Use the rule of thumb: 30 to 40% of available credit. Use that. This is what boosts your credit score, guys. Okay, these are the things that boost your credit score. Settle and close accounts, pay off outstanding debts. Outstanding debts have a significant impact on your credit record, so close them. Okay, pay them off. Okay, and finally, we here. Thank you very much. If you've made it up to this point, um, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So our packages are as follows. We've got I spoke about it, the bronze package, which is limited. We're only taking specific number of people with regards. Actually, all the packages we take a specific number of people for them. Okay. With our gold package, you also get two paid credit reports. With our 6 months package, you get one paid credit report. And the things that we will cover will be webinars. Will cover the premium version of precise. In that premium version, we actually unpack the actual credit report. Um, we also cover prescribed debts. We cover templates that you can use to lodge disputes. What is it that you ought to be writing? These are some of the things. Okay, how to claim from credit insurance. How to leverage both your tenant profile and your monthly utility bills in boosting your credit profile, how to check for unclaimed benefits and assets. And this is one of the important and might not even relate to you. I always say there's something called in the context of there's something called black tax. Okay, um, and to those that, if you're watching this from somewhere in the world and want to understand what is this is actually family tax. This is the responsibilities that you carry beyond your immediate family that create financial pressure to a breadwinner or a person that the family depends on for finances. That's what black tax is. Okay. Um, and in some cases, you might find that you are being embedded. sorry, sorry about that. You are being burdened by not sharing information. So go share your information with former pensioners and so forth. Go and check you yourself if you've had accounts that were closed, assets with. I always say, particularly my people, we overbuy insurance and we overbuy wrong insurance, and it's not all the time that we end up claiming. you know it's not all the time that we claim this insurance, and we prefer insurance products that don't necessarily make sense, that you can't see what happens when you're gone. you know so these are some of the things. We also talk about insurance replacements. We are not some of these things are just what some of people that have gone through our stuff might have experienced on the personal level. It also includes some of the things that I personally also have experienced some of these things. Okay. Um, we've got 40 online sessions over a 12-month period. Obviously, it will that's on the annual package. On others, we try to squeeze the content into the regional package, but still feel like you are getting the full package. Look, I will give you see on the 3 months and on the 6 months, and today is the last days. For those that didn't know, today is the last day for the 3 months package. I think we are currently at 850. Next week, it's all gone. Okay. And we've got customized packages that you can use. So thank you very much, guys. If you managed to get up to here, please follow us on our Facebook group. We've uh, I'm actually going to go do something after this, but there's something that I urgently need to resolve. Follow our site, make contact, follow us in social media. You can follow me in social media as well. I don't have a personal. People always say in my personal account, I keep it personal. It's my personal stuff. Look, I don't have a personal account. My personal account, I talk credit. My group business account, I talk credit. Okay. um I've got other businesses that have nothing to do with credit, but I talk credit. because I'm in the season of credit. My funnels are going to talk to you about credit. Okay. So thank you very much. Please follow us and hope this information has been really helpful to you. Have a blessed day. Enjoy your weekend. It's Friday. We're going to do some work, man. Gonna do some work and go get papers for kids. Kids are going to high school next year, so we must go sort that out. Okay, love you, T. Signing out. Cheers. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much.